Security is a collaborative effort. Yes, there is individuals in charge of security, but everybody in the company is responsible in one way or another of maintaining proper security.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to this episode of the Cynexlink Podcast. Today, I am with my man, Nelson. Nelson, hey, what's going on? Welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you. Appreciate it. How are you
Yeah,
doing?
good. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. So, if you don't mind just spending like a couple of minutes just kind of explaining a little bit about yourself, your background, just to kind of let the audience know what you're all about, and then we can kind of get going and go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, all my education has been in business, got my MBA. I've raced through the ranks in IT, first on infrastructure, then running my own departments and leading it as a director. Switched over to cybersecurity, where I've been combining all my years of experience with IT operations, security, and business. And that's it in a nutshell.
Very cool, very cool. Okay, so in your industry, what do you see the biggest challenges that like people face when it comes to security?
Ah, yes, that's a great question. Well, one of the big uh, upcoming problems or current problems, uh, switches so fast, is AI.
Mm,
As much as it is a tool that helps us analyze threats, it also creates threats. In the past, we used to teach, hey, to avoid phishing, look at the spelling, look at the syntax of how the message was composed, and you can easily identify phishing attempts.
mm.
Nowadays, with AI writing them for you, they come a lot faster, a lot more intricate messages. So it's a lot tougher to teach how to quickly identify uh, a phishing attempt. So that would be one of the threats that I'm seeing coming up. The other one is with everything moving to the cloud, a lot of companies start cloud native. Therefore, all the old parameters of securing your network are obsolete. You have people working from home. How do you secure their home properly? So pushing through layers of security down to the workstation ends up being the solution or one of the many solutions. So those are some of the threats that I'm seeing. Um, the common ones that we also see is supply chain.
Mm.
Uh, in the past, we used to trust the big companies, hoping that their security would keep us safe. Now we have to do our research, test every solution before we implement it, no matter which vendor it is. So those are the main threats that I'm seeing.
So, from your perspective, like when it comes to making sure you're safeguarded against those threats, right? What sort of steps do you think companies need to take? If you were to kind of break it down, I know you mentioned like three, four things right now. I want to break it down to a couple of bullet points that people can take from this and apply.
Yeah, security in layers.
Mm,
Um, First of all, you have to be familiar with everything in your infrastructure, everything in your business. If it's a remote workforce, then how can you properly secure the endpoint and then your infrastructure? Securing it is not just technical controls, but also administrative controls. Teaching your staff how to properly configure the infrastructure, how to properly configure your endpoints, your end users, how to use the software, how to identify anomalies, and then key there to inform if they find any anomalies. A lot of times we focus so much in training them, but we forget about telling them, yes, let us know when you see this anomaly. So then you have a problem and suddenly it was found out that the user knew about it and just ignored it. So security is a collaborative effort. Yes, there is individuals in charge of security, but everybody in the company is responsible in one way or another of maintaining proper security.
How important is partnerships in your opinion when it comes to security? So do you think it's important for companies to have outsourced partners come in and also assist in overseeing certain things, or are you of the proponent of like, no, take it all in house, control it, do it yourself type of thing?
Ideally, I would want to keep everything in house and know every single bits and pieces of everything I manage. But a partnership is a must. And for that, you have to find somebody that is reliable, somebody that takes the time to understand your business. Partners have to understand you in order to help you better. There's some partners out there that will come in and try to force a technology into your environment without truly understanding your business. And that technology might not be a good fit. So, company like yours, where you find that synergy, that communication between the provider and yourself, and find that perfect merger of their help and your needs. That is key.
And what type of red flags, like you said, supply chain, right? So when you actually monitor applications or when you bring in new vendors into the network, what red flags do you guys look for that goes, nah, we can't work with these people?
It boils down to what that application is going to have access to or what that product is going to have access to. If it's going to access sensitive information, then of course your due diligence have to be more stringent, right? You have to make sure that they have a proper change control in place. That way they know what is coming down the pipeline and that everything has proper reassurances throughout the entire. Oh, something just changed in the background. Sorry. So something flashed on the screen. So yes, change control, they have to have it if they're pushing out software. Then a good communication channel. I want to know what they're going to be changing on their platform before it hits my environment.
Mm-hmm.
Support. I want to make sure that I can call them if I find a problem and that they're responsive. I have found many customers that without having a good product, and then when it breaks, it's impossible to find support. That's the type of software that I quickly discontinue their use because if I'm going to be dependent on it, I want to make sure that it can be supported and it's a stable platform.
Mm. So let's switch gears a little bit. So when it comes to players trying to get into the space, you're exactly your industry, trying to get into becoming a director of security or kind of work their way up in the cybersecurity space. What are your kind of like top tips that you would give them on things that they should do or look out for or skills they need to build? I kind of dig deep into that for us, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Currently, my role is in a small company, so there's not much lateral progression.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're ending up in a small company, if you're going to be working in a small company, you have to be a jack of all trades. A lot of times, as a director, you find yourself doing a lot of the day-to-day tasks to maintain the business continuity and to continue furthering the security of your environment. In addition to that, you're dealing with compliance, and because it's a one-man shop a lot of times in those small companies, you'll be assisting other departments such as sales, filling out security questionnaires or RFPs. So in those cases, interpersonal communications is a must, not just your technical skills. You have to be able to develop solid relationships with other departments and realize that part of your job is sales enablement. So you have to help them get those RFPs out as soon as possible, security questionnaires for upcoming customers, and those become sometimes the priorities. While you still maintain security and compliance going at the same time.
Mm.
Skill sets in addition to soft skills, depending on the company, a lot of them are looking right now for cloud, knowledge of cloud infrastructure. You have to be able to, if you're not going to be configuring it, you have to be able to understand it so you can assess its security and its vulnerabilities. So again, jack of all trades.
Yeah.
For bigger companies, it depends on the size of the company, your technical skills. The higher up you go, the less needed they're going to be. Um, Again, it'll become more of an architecture design rather than a manual implementation of the technologies. The higher you go up.
So
So,
have you had experiences with bigger environments?
yes, as an IT director for a casino slash hotel, and at the same time, government agencies, hospitals. So a big umbrella company that oversaw multiple businesses for a tribe.
Hmm. Is it harder to manage a larger environment, or is it kind of like the same sort of difficulty, just kind of a different job?
Problems seem to be similar. The scales are different.
Hmm.
Um, in a big business, again, your perspective, you're going to have staff, a lot more staff. So you are directing and having an overarching view of everything that's going on. Um, a lot of moving wheels. You have to deal with a lot more departments. In a small company, you keep a closer look at the detail because the little details affect you even more as a small company.
Hmm.
Your platform is smaller, therefore, every single bug has a much bigger effect. So it's a different perspective. It's kind of difficult to explain, I guess. Going from over 3,000 users down to 25 users. Again, the issues are going to be slightly different, but the responsibilities are the same. Your responsibility at the end of the day is maintaining the environment secure, the business running, and the customers happy.
I see. I see. So how do you, that kind of actually interestingly takes me enough to the next question. How do you approach the balance between all that, like security measures, user convenience, customer satisfaction, all that kind of good stuff? Like what's the formula? Is there a formula? Or you just kind of pray to God that it works.
Different approaches, right? If you have a big user base, you usually take a small segment of users, test your security parameters, make sure they are functional and secure, and then roll it out to the broader arena.
Hmm.
With a small company, again, you still want to test it if possible with a few subset. Make sure that the security controls are not tight enough that it breaks their functionality. But the user experience has to come first. You have to find that the sweet point between security, usability, and customer comfort. A lot of times, to obtain the customer comfort, you have to work with the end user. You have to explain the why, because if their understanding of why they're adding a new process or new step in their processes, they're more willing to accommodate for those small modifications in daily activities.
Hmm.
So again, like I mentioned prior, security is a community effort. It's a
Yes.
corporate wide culture that you have to develop in order to maintain everybody's job secure.
Totally, totally. Okay, so my final question for you, how do you see new technologies in your industry, like AI, new developments like that? How do you see that affecting cybersecurity as a whole?
Well, again, AI trying to make everybody's job easier. The latest example is, for example, the
Mm,
chatbots, ChatGPT or Gemini or all these other uh, flavors of it are great for improving efficiencies. They help, for example, sales people fill out security questionnaires with ease. It gives them preempted answers that they can fill in. And now our job is just to review rather than create from scratch. Problems that you find with that is data security. Now everybody uploading documents to the cloud in order to train their algorithms puts that data out there, especially in smaller companies. When the company does not invest in their own secure chat environment, then a lot of those times the documents get uploaded to the internet. Now, if they're using it for running answers based on security information, well, now you've put your security information out there. So data leak is a big concern.
Interesting. And how do you combine that? Like, how do you combat that? Can you?
Yes, you can. First, training. Your users have to understand the type of data that they're handling. Data classification for data loss prevention can help you trigger alerts when sensitive documents are being uploaded onto different platforms, be this into a file sharing document repository or GPT applications. So once you get those triggers, you have to immediately assess the potential for the data leak and then address it.
So Nelson,
Yes.
I appreciate your time. Where can people find you online if they want to reach out to you?
Yes, absolutely, Adam. They can reach me through LinkedIn. My profile is listed. It's Nelson-F-Wenner. So you can find me there.
Nice. And for everybody that's watching, if you guys enjoyed, please remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this. Nelson, I appreciate you for hopping on the podcast. Thank you so much for your time today.
Well, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Pleasure's all mine.